Okay, folks, we're going to carry on and talk a little bit more about P3 business analysis today. Today I want to have a look at the topic of strategic choice, coming up with ideas, coming up with options that we can then try to examine and have a look at whether they're good for our business. If we just remember the context that we're going to talk in today, we're talking about strategic choice. That is the second stage of our rational strategic planning model. Remember that the rational strategic planning model, we discussed this before, is only one possibility, although it is the most important possibility. So when we're looking at approaches to strategic planning, this is something hopefully you remember from before. There's four distinct types of angle of approach we can take. The rational, or sometimes called the top-down approach, which is the key basis for P3, forms, about 60% of our syllabus in terms of content. That's what we're going to focus on today, and we've also done quite a bit of work on that, particularly on the environmental analysis and the internal analysis. But just as a reminder, we have these different approaches, don't we? We have this idea of emergent strategies, so things that develop, things that weren't in the original plan, changes in circumstances, changes in environment, changes in competencies, strategies that literally emerge as we develop and we go through and cause us to change. We have the idea of incrementalism, where people take small baby steps. Usually managers are a little bit cautious about making large whole-scale changes. There's a lot of risk involved, so they say, okay, we'll just do this a little bit first. Oh, that's worked. We'll do a little bit more. That's worked. We'll do a little bit more. Oh, that hasn't worked. Let's backtrack and think again. So rather than making a huge change, they'll make the change in small increments, small steps. Then, of course, you've got the freewheeling opportunists, the people that don't believe in planning at all. They believe that the world changes so rapidly that if you spend lots and lots of time analysing, looking at your environment, looking at your resources, looking at your competencies, coming up with ideas, coming up with plans, putting them into place, by the time you do that, then the world has changed, the world has moved on, and you're out of date. So the freewheeling opportunists are sort of the anti-planners. They think you should just grab opportunities as they develop and not invest huge amounts of time in spending lots and lots of energy, effort, money in developing detailed planning processes.